Hey guys, it's What If Senpai here back with another video. We're doing part 3 of What If Naruto Was a Prodigy. Let's get into the video. Start this video with Naruto waking up in his bed with Hinata and Karin at the side of him. He wakes them up and carries them and they go outside. Naruto prepares breakfast and gives them some breakfast. Naruto then went off to pawn in his gear that I stated in the last part. He then pet Kurama on the head, and Kurama was growling at him and said, "Stop treating me like an animal, you brat." And Naruto said, "You technically are an animal, Kurama." Kurama pouted and just went back to his host but pen, or however you want to put that as. Then a letter came then a letter came in, and it was Naruto. It told Naruto that Team 7 had a secret mission today. Naruto picked up and read the details of the mission and realized that they were taking a bridge builder to the land of waves. Naruto finished up his breakfast and left to the Hokage's office. Location: Hokage's office. Naruto just entered the Hokage office, seeing Sakura and female Sasuke with Kakashi. They then left to take Tarzan to the land of waves. On the way to land of waves, they found the two demon brother of the mist. Naruto and Sasuke took them out swiftly with bare minimum effort. And Naruto congratulated Sasuke on his achievement or whatever. And then went off, but Naruto noticed something was wrong. He realized that there was a white rabbit, but it was the middle of spring or summer. I can't remember what time it was then. And this rabbit was white. It didn't make sense. So then Naruto told everyone to duck, but he vibrated himself so the sword would pass through him. When the sword passed through Naruto, he backflipped on the sword that landed in the tree, landing right next to Zabuza and punching Zabuza in the face. Him and Zabuza started to get into a heated taijutsu spar and match. Naruto taking out his explosion sword Uzugekiri. He then put it in front of him and ran towards Zabuza. It then clashed with their two blades, Naruto adding some lightning chakra, clashing with Zabuza's blade even more. Naruto stepped back and before stepping back, he slashed the ground in front of Zabuza. Then channel chakra to the sword, and where Naruto slashed, it exploded. Zabuza realized that this sword could explode something when it came in contact with it. Zabuza made a mental note to never let Naruto ever cut him or get anywhere near to the sword. And then Zabuza realized, wait, my sword touched that sword. And as he said that, Zabuza pulled his sword and his sword exploded. But he went back for it and just stabbed his hand with the blade and it grew back to its normal size. He then went back into a taijutsu spar, with Naruto ultimately beating Zabuza and... Sorry. It's just cold outside, so... And it's spring. Alright. It's spring, so it look cold. So... So they then went back to the hut, to Zabuza's tomb, where they met Zabuza's daughter and his grandson. I didn't pay much attention to them. Nor did he care really. He just unpacked his stuff and put it in his bedroom and left. Before leaving, Sakura glared at him, but Naruto didn't even realize, and Sasuke asked if she could follow him. Sasuke then grabbed Naruto's hand and they left. Naruto went into the village and saw how poor it was. and then told Sasuke to wait there. Naruto then went into the forest, killing animals, using his swift release, killing them fast, and getting wood and creating plank wood. And by the way, the rain is falling, so you might hear that in the background. And just getting overall material for the village. And then 200 shadow clones came from the forest and started to fix the village. Everyone was surprised, and then they saw a big fire lit in the middle of the village. They then could see Naruto cooking food, and the animals, the boar, the lizards, the snakes, cooking them and handing them out made of wooden plates. Sasuke had a thought that Naruto was so gentle, was so delicate, but he could also be so scary at times. But she didn't mind this, and let's help Naruto to cook the food. Naruto then left. Then, when they finished fixing the village, Naruto finished and they went back to the village to eat dinner that Naruto brought for them. They all said it was tasted delicious, and even Tazuna's daughter said it was delicious. But then Tazuna's son had enough, or Inari, I guess. Inari. He said, "How can you sit there and believe that you can beat Gato?" Naruto ignored him at first. Then he started to go on about how they don't know pain in their sheltered village, and how none of them understand the pain that he went through. Naruto for the first time opened his eyes and talked from this whole thing. When Naruto opened his eyes wasn't the same. It was red with a slit in between it. Everybody could sense how Naruto was feeling. It was pure, unbridled rage. Naruto, but in calm and menacing tone, asked him, does he know how it feels to not have any family at all? Does he know how it feels to have your whole village hate you? Do you know how it feels to have to go in the garbage to eat food? Do you know how it feels to have to do everything by yourself for your whole life? If you don't know any of that, please shut up and eat your food. Then Naruto went back quiet, and his red eyes retracted from his eyes. Inari was shocked, because by the way he was speaking meant that he had went through more pain than him. And Inari realized that Naruto could have gone full blown on him, but he didn't even bother the time to do it. Inari realized that he was bitching for no reason. There was people in this world that had more pain than he ever had. Naruto asked if he knew how it felt to have all 2 clans that he belonged to gone out of existence just because they were too strong. No, the Namikaze clan was sticking out because they were too strong, and it was proved right when Minato gave up, because he was a boss, right? So then we skip to Naruto going outside alone this time without Sasuke. When they had Inari and had that whole thing. On the forest, he saw a girl with black hair. I think her eyes was brown. With brown eyes, with a purple kimono on. A snow white kimono with a red tie. Naruto then pointed her out and asked her if she was and they told her that she had a similar chakra to who picked up Zabuza, but then she told her that it wasn't her though. Hold on for a bit, guys. So this girl and Naruto started to talk, and he realized that her name was Haku Yuki. Hakuyuki then told Naruto that the person that took Zabuza was her brother, not her. But she would fight with Naruto very soon. Naruto told her he didn't want to kill her because she seemed like a nice person. Actually, Naruto knows she's a nice person. And Haku says that Zabuza saved her life when she had nothing. Her and her brother's life when she had nothing. Although he might treat her bad or tried multiple times, tried to sell her in slave trade, she would never betray him like that. Naruto was completely disgusted. Zabuza tried to sell Haku to slave in a slave trading organization. Naruto was gonna kill Zabuza, and there was no Haku holding back to do that. And we skip to the Zabuza encounter. Zabuza, Haku, and Huku would appear in the bridge with Kakashi, Sasuke, Sakura, and Naruto. Sasuke would take Hakuzu, whatever his name is, right? And Naruto would take Haku, and Sakura would do nothing, which Kakashi would take Zabuza. Naruto and Haku's fight would end abruptly by Naruto completely beating Haku within an inch of her life. Actually not doing it, but he could. He just chopped her neck one time, like 2 times. It took her 2 times to do so Naruto was ultimately faster. But then he blitzed towards Sasuke and female Sasuke, and they got in a sport. But Naruto got distracted in between the battle, and Sasuke had to take Senmon, and in Sasuke's last breath, activated her Tritomori Sharingan. In her last breath, she told Naruto that she loved him, and kissed Naruto. What she thought would be the last time she would see Naruto until he came to the afterlife, and even maybe then, he might be with his wife. She chuckled at the irony. I miss you, Naruto, was her last words until her body went limp. Naruto got in such a rage that a QB aura surrounded Naruto with a tail coming out of the aura. No, I didn't say cloak. It was an aura coming off of Naruto, not a cloak. I'm calling this the perfect QB transformation. So Naruto is able to not to use the cloak, but it's a higher form of the cloak, a more condensed form of the cloak. So it's 2 times stronger than the normal one-tailed cloak could be. So Naruto's eyes started to morph. They went pitch white with 3 black tomoes. When the black tomoes was formed, all came into Naruto's pupil. And one of Naruto's eyes started to bleed. And Naruto said, "Glitch." And it was like Naruto glitched out of the world and glitched right back in. He glitched right back in into Hakuzu's stomach and punctured his stomach, ultimately killing Hakuzu. And Zabuza died from the Chidori that Kakashi charged up. Haku then waked up and heard what happened to them. She cried for his brother, but not for Zabuza. She would never betray Zabuza, but it doesn't mean that she liked him either, though. Naruto left and put Haku on his back and left the Land of Ways, where the bridge was called the Great Naruto Bridge. I also figured that Sasuke was actually alive. And she was kind of embarrassed that she said what she said, because she thought she was going to die. She just said it. I know she's pretty embarrassed. And another certain person was watching this, and also was going to step in, but a certain person with black hair with I think it was a mouse or weasel mask with Anbu attire. But when he saw what Sasuke said, He kind of smiled. But when he saw that Sasuke was getting punctured by the needles, he thought he was going to interrupt. But then he realized that Sasuke wasn't dead. He was just knocked out because the person didn't want to kill him. Naruto also felt bad about killing Hakuzu because he didn't want to kill Sasuke, but... No, he did want to kill Sasuke, but he missed a little bit because I'm not saying he's gonna... He didn't have that type of accuracy that his sister had, right? So he doesn't feel bad. Anyways, they went back to Konoha. When Naruto got home, Sasuke asked Naruto if he wanted to meet his family properly this time. Naruto said okay and invited the girls, and they came along with Sasuke. They came to Sasuke to the Uchiha compound and went inside. Mikito welcomed them and addressed them to their seats. They then sat, and Sasuke brought up the thing with Naruto's eyes changing. Naruto says he doesn't really know. And by the way, Kurama's on top of Naruto's head. So everybody's looking at Kurama in a weird way, but he's just so cute that you can't really be mad at him. And Kurama's kind of sleeping right now, but when the subject was brought up, Kurama opened his eyes. Kurama then explained to them that the Namikazes also had a dojutsu, but it was lost in time because the dojutsu started to wear off in time and started to go off and just faded. But then they inherently gained the swift release. But Naruto asked what was he glitched out of the world and glitched right back in. Naruto then Kurama then explained exactly what you just said. That's exactly what you did. You glitched into the world and glitched back right back when you were trying to hit him. By the way, Haku's there, but she has a chocolate suppressing seal on her because the village don't kind of trust her that kind of way. But anyways, so they're eating, and Itachi brings up what happened in the mist in the land of Wiz, but Sasuke kind of blushes at this, but is unnoticed by the rest of them. And then Itachi just brought up the fact that he was on a mission near there, and he saw Sasuke and Naruto, and he saw they had a particular conversation that he also overheard. Then Sasuke was freaking out. She was all red and she was blushing. She was just a nerve wrack at this point. Naruto actually got a slight blush on his face, and so Itachi just started laughing and just said, "I hear that you like Naruto, and you had your first kiss that day, Sasuke." Sasuke blushed even more, and forgot in Mikito smiled, and Fulaku was kind of annoyed but kind of smiled at the same time. She then admitted to it, and yeah. They then finished up the night and they went back home. They were then given the information about the Chunin exams, where Naruto, Sasuke, and Hinata and Karin went off to train. Hinata was training on her kaiten a little bit more and just truly was training really. And Karin was working on her Uzumaki ceiling chains a little bit more and the rest of that. And she was able to actually kind of break one of Naruto's adamantium chains. Naruto was also just working on his dojutsu, trying to how to minimize the strain that Glitch puts on his body. Because anytime you try to use it after the land of waves, his eyes started to bleed and his body started to cramp up. But he also taught But he also it asked if he had any more abilities, which no, he does. But I'm not gonna show them. I'm gonna show them in like he's gonna progress with them. He's not gonna just get all of them one time. And the reason why Naruto has the 3 Tomoe Nazugan, which is I'm gonna call the Dojutsu, already is because Naruto was training his whole life, which he with the bloodline was just trying to build itself up, and then just when it unlocked, he got all of the forms of it. It then went on to do the written test. That technically went the same, but Naruto was way smarter and way stronger. And the force of death went the same, but something different happened. So I see we see the curse mark, yes, but she didn't black out. They just still went on with their time and went to the preliminaries. Where everything happened to Canada. You know what phrase that? I messed up. The first fight would be Kiba and Naruto. When Kiba heard this, he thought of a perfect matchup, and he talked his smack that he smart. He said in canon, but he said smart all the time. But anyways, then Kiba said that you don't know true power. Let me show you true power. And Naruto scoffed and then asked him if he knew what true power was. Naruto then got down on all fours, and a red aura came around Naruto, and out of the red aura came a red chakra tail. And the people could feel the immense power that was emanating off of Naruto. But for some reason, there was no malice. Although he was using the Kyuubi's chakra, even if he had perfect control of the Kyuubi's chakra, malice would have still came off. Let's do a flashback. You see Naruto and Kurama in their mindscape, and they see an orange aura tearing itself off from Kurama. Kurama then told Naruto that was his negative emotions ripping away from his body, and he told Naruto that he needed to put it out up somewhere, or it's gonna consume his body and turn him evil. Naruto then thought of the idea quick and bought a mask. Took a mask that he had gotten years ago where a village threw it at him, but he caught it instead of letting it hit on his head and just ran away with it. And Naruto brought the mask into the seal and sealed Kurama's malice, hatred, and total really envy, and with the slivers of the Kyuubi chakra and the mask, and the evil intent was sealed into the mask. Naruto then locked up the mask in a sealing scroll and kind of sent it to another dimension using glitch, which he also thought that he can glitch people out of this world and glitch them right back in. He can not only use glitch on himself, he can use glitch on others. So back to present time. Naruto started to attack Kiba, and with ease, just started to wail on Kiba. But 2 people were shook. Gaara was shook because Naruto could use a tail of the Nine Tails chakra, which meant that he had no chance, because he saw that Naruto was strong by himself. But with a tail of the Kyuubi chakra, which was equivalent to his, he was done for. So was Tamari and Kankuro, because they know that Gaara couldn't compare to that. And Naruto spotted a second tail showing and a third tail showing to Kiba that he wasn't anything special and he wasn't strong in his prevalent vision. I told him that his visual powers is see through deception, and your deception that you think that you're stronger than anyone. And if you train just a little bit, you'll be one of the strongest people in the world. Naruto then told Kiba that he was trash and that he was just a stain on the earth, and that he was gonna show him what reality is. And Genjutsu Kiba to see every ounce of pain that Naruto had in his lifetime. And Kiba was shook. That ended up in Kiba losing the match. When it came to Hinata's at Neji's match. Yeah, Neji started to talk smack and started to talk bullshit. I know actually every clan head was at the preliminaries. Inabi, because she was about to be the next heir and Hiyashi's wife. They saw Hinata completely destroy Neji, even when Neji was going all out and even try harding and tried to pull cheap tricks. Hinata just started to wail on she started to wail on Neji and started to beat Neji within an inch of his life and ended off with her own technique. The gentle fist, twin lion kiting, or twin lion rotation. And Hiyashi was surprised and kind of proud at his daughter because she created her own technique. No less, she created her own technique of the kiting, adding on to the kiting's perfect defense. She was proud to say nonetheless, but what he found odd was that her chakra was purple, not blue, which was most like the Uzumaki's instead of the Hyuga's. But he was gonna ask her on it later. And he hasn't really been realizing that Hinata hasn't really been coming home too much. But anyways, they go off to their 1 month training, and Naruto's still training with Jiraiya, learning the summoning jutsu, the Toad summoning jutsu, and just like overall getting stronger, and he's starting to learn how to use Sage Chakra. But in this time, he created a curse mark seal by studying Sasuke's curse mark. And he also got a curse mark from Orochimaru too, but Naruto actually took it off and studied his and Sasuke's curse mark. He then created a seal, or what he called the Uzumaki curse mark. Naruto gave it to Hinata and Karin, and he improved Sasuke so the chakra drain doesn't happen and she can use the curse mark to its full ability. Naruto even placed it on himself, which Naruto actually felt a lot stronger, actually mastering the curse mark's power. So it all depends on what kind of is your spirit animal. Naruto's spirit animal is the fox, so Naruto got tails coming out of his back. Karin got tails coming out of her back too because the Uzumaki, the Naruto's kind of belongs to the Uzumaki, so I'm gonna put them as that. Hinata got herself I think it was an eagle, or I don't know what it was. It was some type of bird. Sasuke got no, she would get the same curse mark that. No, she got a raven. She got raven wings, and her body just turns that grayish color, but instead of her body turning that pinkish peaches color, it turns like a black with a white star in the middle of her nose. It's not that creepy thing. And Naruto's body turns orange with a white star in the middle of his forehead and is one of his nose. Naruto then it was time for the preliminaries. The preliminaries kind of go the same, but no, it doesn't go the same. But Naruto faces Gaara, and Gaara ends up going crazy, and Naruto ends up beating Gaara. But let's switch off to the third Hokage, and Orochimaru is fighting right now. Naruto didn't use the reanimated jutsu. He just fought the third Hokage. For some reason, the third Hokage could see that Orochimaru wasn't doing this willingly. And then he realized the seal that was on Orochimaru's neck. Then when he saw it, he removed it and he saw the real Orochimaru again. He saw the Orochimaru, the student that he trained. Orochimaru that he admired or liked. He didn't realize this was a personality changing seal that he also put in a scroll to see. Now in this one, Danzo manipulated Orochimaru, not manipulated, but put a seal on Orochimaru to make him the person that he was. And Orochimaru, when seeing the third Hokage, cried and hugged the third Hokage, telling him that he always wanted to speak but he couldn't, and he was so trapped in this endless darkness that he just broke down in front of the third Hokage. The third Hokage consoling Orochimaru and just overall accepting Orochimaru and realizing what actually happened. To say the third Hokage was mad was an understatement. Someone put a emotion changing seal on his student, making him doing all these horrible things and putting the blame on him. What they wanted this to happen. He was beyond vivid. So that became the end of the Konoha Crush arc. Now, after that, the council or a village meeting was called because the Konoha kind of didn't like get destroyed, and Orochimaru recalled all the sound shinobi and integrated them into Konoha, making them Konoha shinobi, and the sound 4 and the sound 4 and the sound 4 and all the Orochimaru's experiment, like Jugo, Suigetsu, Kimaru, all of them got their curse mark enhanced, and Naruto fixed Jugo's crazy thing, and the Sun 4 got their curse marks improved, and they're not crazy or they're not like overall insane, but the people that were just straight up bad was killed. And the village is the Konoha became the strongest village, and it actually became stronger than it was in the past few years. You can actually compare it to the warring states, not the warring states, but the third Ninja War, where they were at their peak, but they since diminished when Minato left. And then a village meeting was called, and it was announced that Naruto was the son of the fourth Hokage Minato, and that he was the person that saved us from the Shukaku, and how Naruto is just this big old prodigy, how strong Naruto is. The Hokage just all on boasting about Naruto. They all cheered and they all released what they thought of Naruto before and just accepted him as who he was, not who the fox was. And they found out that the fox was controlled by a person named Madara Uchiha, and it wasn't. And they note that Madara did not have any affiliation with the Uchiha clan. Madara was a rogue Uchiha that they had long forgotten. Now, everybody doesn't blame any hatred towards Uchiha or the Nine-Tails. They realized that Nine-Tails didn't willingly do this; it was forced to by Madara. And then a council meeting was called with Naruto being involved, and then Naruto being pronounced the new clan head of Uzumaki and Namikaze. And also, Tayuya lives with Naruto, and the rest of the Sound 4, well, I got homes for them. A council meeting was then called, and Naruto was inaugurated the clan head of the Uzumaki and Namikaze clan. He took all the houses and the stores that was once owned by his late father, Minato Namikaze, and showed the paperwork and the document that stated that he inherited all of that. The council was very mad and upset because they knew who Naruto's father was. They just took it from him. And they were just overall pissed, but they couldn't do anything because that was law. It was his. They were using his spot, and they had to even pay him rent for living in there with rent free for so long. and they had to fork up some money to give to Naruto. Naruto then issued the sound people like the sound 3 now, but Tayuya is not in there right now. So everyone is wearing a Johnny flat jacket, a Konoha Johnny flat jacket with the Sound Village on the side of their collar, so they will show that they was once from the Sound, but they integrated to Konoha. So Naruto, Tayuya, Karin, Hinata, and Sasuke get in a relationship, and they all confess their feelings to Naruto, and Naruto accepts them. They then went off to find Tsunade, which would actually happen exactly the same, but Kisame is the only person that came, and Naruto ended up killing Kisame and taking the Samehada. Naruto took scales off of the Samehada, and Samehada, like Naruto, and morphed into a sword, a pitch black sword, feeding from Naruto's chakra. For some reason, it was able to become a katana that on the edges could shred and cut through items. It had a skull at the bottom of the katana and the natural weapon of Samehada. Yeah, you could understand. So the Samehada turned into a blade. So Naruto has 2 blades, the explosion blade and the Samehada blade, which just takes your chakra. So Kisame is dead. So they still end up bringing back Tsunade to the village, but Tsunade didn't have that thing with Orochimaru and realized what actually happened to Orochimaru. And Tsunade was pretty mad too, because whoever controlled Orochimaru, they have to pay, because that was her friend at some point. And Jiraiya is pretty happy that he has back his friend Orochimaru, and he's pretty angry too that Orochimaru was controlled like that. He didn't like it one bit though. But he had to deal with it. And then they come back to the village, and actually I'm gonna leave off the video, guys. This is pretty good. This is pretty good scripted. I did this pretty well in my regard of it. It was pretty good actually. So guys, go and check out my series that I did just now. I did it a few hours ago. What if Asta had light magic? And I kind of like that, and I might make a part 2 today. But don't expect it, because today is Independence Day for Barbados, which I'm currently staying at because I cannot go back to Texas because the airline is still shut off. So I have to do school from online. So I can't go back to Texas because, yeah. But no. So if you have any questions about the what if, or like if you want me to explain something that you didn't feel like I explained too well, or if you want something to change that I don't see is as in too impossible to change, where I don't have to like disrupt the whole Naruto, the whole timeline I'm going with, and I want you to know that if I want to know how you like the Orochimaru turned good thing. Like, he was never bad in the first place. And I really think that, as much as I didn't like Orochimaru, I realized that he was such a good person at one point in time, but he just changed all of a sudden, and it was not really that fleshed out. And actually, in my eyes, it wasn't that fleshed out, and I just wanted to make Orochimaru back good again. And let me know what you think about the Nazugan, and tell me if you want it in any other what ifs. And how do you like glitch? Because that's what the main thing I'm gonna use when I use the Nazugan is glitch. So yeah. And overall, just give this stuff a like, and that's it. See ya. Peace.